So, am I audible? Okay. Okay. So today we are going to start second part of geomorphology. Now this is no way related to the previous part. What we discussed, geomorphology can be divided into two parts. One is origin and evolution of Earth crust and endogenic exogenic forces, Earth's interior, up to plate tectonic theory, earthquake. Now we are going to start second part, that is cycle of erosion, slope development, erosional surface, denudation chronology. These four chapters are interlinked. All are actually, it is the same topic which has been divided into four parts, right? तो इसमें एक दूसरे से correlated है these four topics, and after that we'll cover geomagnetism and channel morphology, which are independent topics. Now, cycle of erosion. Wherever you have any doubt, ask it. Right? Cycle of अरे यार तुम लोग टाइम से आया करो. Cycle of erosion. What do we mean by cycle? Cycle is the duration. Suppose this is an uplifted landform. It is a landform. Gradually, by way of erosion, it is weathered and eroded, and ultimately it is reduced to sea level. Sea level is the ultimate base level. Cycle is that duration of time during which an uplifted landmass is reduced to sea level. That time period is known as cycle. ठीक है? Cycle refers to that time period during which an uplifted landmass is reduced to sea level by way of weathering and erosion, by way of, since the agent responsible for this process is erosion, so it is known as cycle of erosion. It is also known as theory of landform development. Landform development means how an uplifted landmass is gradually reduced to sea level. The place where Himalayas are standing today, after long period of time, that will be reduced to plain, flat plain. Like Canadian Shield, when it got formed, it was in the form of volcanic arc and fold mountain. Canadian Shield has now been reduced to flat, low-lying plain. So, cycle is the duration of time during which an uplifted landmass is reduced to sea level. That duration is known as cycle. And since the agent responsible for this process is erosion, so it is known as cycle of erosion. Why do we call it cycle? We call it cycle because again, this landmass which has been reduced to sea level, it will again undergo upliftment. Again, it will be reduced to sea level. It is a cyclic process. It continues forever, for eternity. Upliftment takes place. Gradually it is reduced to sea level. Again, upliftment takes place. Again, it is reduced to sea level. It is a cyclic process. And this upliftment and reduction to sea level, these processes are very slow. Upliftment is also very slow. So this concept of cyclicity, ये cyclic कहाँ से आया? हटन. जैसे फिजिक्स में आइंस्टीन हैं, न्यूटन है, वैसे ही जियोलॉजी में हटन. He occupies the same respect in geology. Hutton. This concept of cyclicity was propounded by Hutton. Hutton gave a very important concept of uniformitarianism. Uniformitarianism, the most important concept in geology. ये concept क्या कहता है? The concept of uniformitarianism simply states the same geological processes that are operating at present, the same process operated in past, and the same process will operate in future, although with not same intensity. The forces of endogenic and exogenic forces, their impact keeps on changing. So the concept of uniformitarianism simply states the same geological processes that are operating at present, they operated in past and they will operate in future, although with not same intensity. The concept of cyclicity, it is cyclic, was propounded by Hutton. He gave the concept of cyclic nature of earth history. Cyclic nature of earth history. No vestige of a beginning, no prospect of an end. मतलब सब कुछ गोल है, the same process continues. In a circle there is no beginning, no end. Cyclic. He gave the concept of cyclic nature of earth history. He gave the concept of no vestige of a beginning, no prospect of an end. ना कहीं शुरुआत है, ना कहीं अंत है. The same process goes on. The same process, cyclic. In a cycle, in a circle, there is no beginning, no end. And he said, present is the key to the past. If you understand the present processes, you can understand history. He gave the concept, तीन उसके चार कोरे, uniformitarianism, cyclic nature of earth history, no vestige of a beginning, no prospect of an end, and cyclic nature of earth history. That is, this present is key to the past. If you understand the present geological processes, you can well predict the processes that operated in past and the processes that will operate in future. Because the same process goes on, because it is all cyclic. Upliftment, reduction to sea level, again upliftment. Getting this? So this concept of cyclicity was propounded by Hutton based on Hutton's cyclic concept. Cyclic concept of Hutton and evolutionary concept of Darwin. American scholar William Morris Davis, popularly known as Davis, based on these two concepts, Davis propounded the concept of cycle of erosion, also known as theory of landscape development, based on these two concepts, cyclic concept of Hutton and evolutionary concept of Darwin. In perspectives, I discussed evolutionary concept. I will discuss. अभी किया कहाँ है अभी? In perspectives, in previous batch I discussed. I will discuss how Darwin, how Davis was highly influenced by evolutionary concept of Darwin. Origin of Species, published in 1959, 1859. It brought about a revolutionary breakthrough in geological sciences also. So based on the evolutionary concept of Darwin and cyclic concept of Hutton, Davis propounded his concept of cycle of erosion under the title Geographical Cycle of Erosion in 1889. 1859 में डार्विन की ओरिजिन ऑफ स्पीशीज पब्लिश हुई थी और 1889 में ही पुट फॉरवर्ड दिस कंसेप्ट ज्योग्राफिकल साइकिल ऑफ इरोजन. दिस is also known as theory of landform development. This concept of geographical cycle of erosion was based on the basic concept of sequential evolution of landform, just like evolution of organic life. डार्विन ने कहा था ना, लाइफ इवॉल्व्स इज अ स्ट्रगल बिटवीन लिविंग एंड बायोटिक एंड एबायोटिक एनवायरनमेंट. इज अ स्ट्रगल एंड सर्वाइवल ऑफ द फिटेस्ट टेक्स प्लेस. इनिशियली ऑर्गेनिज्म इज यूथफुल, then mature, then old. This concept of cycle of erosion, landform development was based on the basic concept of sequential or gradual evolution of landform, through time, just like evolution of organic life. First it is youthful, then mature, then old. Youthful से directly old नहीं हो सकते. Just like landform also evolves in a same fashion. Initially they are youthful, then they get matured, then they become old. यहाँ तक समझ में आया? So this geographical cycle of erosion was based on these two concepts, was derived from these two concepts, and it was based on the basic concept of gradual, a sequential, orderly evolution of landform through time, just like evolution of life, organic life. Now, Davis did his research in temperate areas, in middle latitudes. In these areas, rivers happen to be the main agent of erosion. Rivers happen to be the main agent that shape the landform. Davis did his research in middle latitudes, temperate area, where rivers happen to be the main agent of erosion. So his cycle of erosion is also known as fluvial cycle of erosion or normal cycle of erosion. See, in arid areas, wind happen to be the most important erosive agent. In glacial areas, glaciers happen to be the most important erosive agent. In coastal areas, sea waves happen to be the most important erosive agent. In periglacial areas, the process of congelifraction, freezing and thawing, happens to be the most important erosive agent. He did his research in middle latitudes, where rivers, that is fluvial, rivers are most important erosive agent. So his geographical cycle of erosion is also known as fluvial cycle of erosion or normal cycle of erosion. ठीक है? Let us start this topic. Before putting forward this concept of cycle of erosion, he made certain assumptions. I told you every theory is based on certain self-proof facts, axioms or postulates or assumptions. है ना? मैंने बताया था ना, every theory is based on certain assumptions, axioms, premises. है ना? तो he also made 5 assumptions. What were the assumptions? Any landform or landscape is the result of interaction of endogenic forces and exogenic forces. That is, forces coming from within the earth and forces coming from atmosphere. Any landform is the result of interaction of endogenic and exogenic forces. Second, the evolution of landform always takes place in orderly or sequential manner. That means initially landform is youthful, then it becomes mature, then it becomes old. Evolution of, बताया था ना, just like an organic life. Second assumption was the evolution of landform takes place in orderly, that is sequential manner, from youthful to mature to old. Third, इस concept को I will discuss in detail in channel morphology. See, every river or every stream has a tendency to achieve graded conditions. Every river tends to degrade its valley, that is valley incision, valley deepening, or degrade its valley. Every stream has a tendency to resort to valley deepening or valley incision until it achieves graded conditions. What is graded condition? See, initially a river is flowing like this, and this level, sea level, is the grand base level. Artificial line is drawn inside the land. A river has a tendency to deepen its valley. Now what happens, wherever soft rocks are there, they get deepened very fast. Hard rocks are eroded slowly. So river gradually develops waterfall in its course. And these hard rocks are also gradually eroded. And there's a tendency among all rivers to ultimately flow along such smooth concave curve. Every river has a tendency to achieve graded conditions. Graded curve, what is graded curve or graded condition? Such smooth concave slope along which the transporting capacity of the river and the sediment to be transported is in equilibrium. That is, there is no net deposition, no net erosion. ये हर river की tendency होती है. Every river. We'll discuss this concept in much detail in channel morphology. We'll discuss rejuvenation, we'll discuss topographic discordance, valley in valley topography, paired terraces, neck points, बहुत चीज़, head of rejuvenation. मतलब ये मोटा मोटी यहाँ इतना समझ लो. What is third assumption? Stream erode their valleys rapidly downward until graded condition is achieved. That means every river resorts to valley incision or valley deepening so that it may start flowing along such smooth concave curve. Graded condition is what? River starts flowing along such smooth concave slope where the transporting capacity of the river and the sediment to be transported both are in equilibrium. This stage is achieved in old stage, very old stage. Last, if tectonic stability prevails. अभी तुमको कई चीज़ें समझ में नहीं आएंगी क्योंकि अब क्या करें, ये कॉन्सेप्ट्स बाद में हैं, बट इतना मोटा मोटी समझ में आ गया what he wants to say. Every river has a tendency, every river aims to achieve graded condition. No river is able to achieve graded condition in the complete stretch because by the time upliftment takes place. So every stream erode down its valley resorts to valley incision. अब बेटा यहाँ पर geographical terminology use करनी है. Valley incision is a geographical term for valley deepening. You have to use those words and listen it very carefully. You have to use these words. तुम्हें वीडियो 3-4 बार इसलिए देखना है कि जो terminology I am using, you have to use that terminology that will reveal that you are a student of geography. Every stream, river की जगह they use stream, resorts to valley incision until it achieves graded condition. It is the objective of every river. And graded condition is what? That is every stream intends to flow along such smooth concave slope where transporting capacity and the sediment to be transported both are in balance, so that there is no net erosion, no net deposition. Such condition is known as graded condition. Fourth assumption was completely wrong, but Davis presumed it, that there is short period of rapid rate of upliftment. ऐसा कभी नहीं होता है. Upliftment is also an exceedingly slow process, like formation of fold mountain. It takes millions and millions of years. You cannot observe it with naked eye. It takes millions and millions of years. But he said, चलो assume कर लो, मेरी बात मान लो. There's a short period of rapid rate of upliftment. You will use this in his criticism. There's no short period of rapid upliftment. But he assumed there's a short period of rapid rate of upliftment. And fifth assumption is also totally unfounded. He said erosion does not start until upliftment is complete. It is also completely unfounded assumption, because as soon as upliftment will take place, a slope will come into existence. Immediately the streams will start eroding the valley. नदी वेट थोड़ी ना करेगी, चलो तुम पूरा अपलिफ्ट हो जाओ तब मैं बहना शुरू करूंगी. No, it's totally unfounded. You will use it in his criticism. He said, what he intended, उनका logic क्या था? He said, because initially the upliftment is less, slope created is less, so rivers are flowing on gentle slope, and the erosion caused by these river can be ignored. What he said. Otherwise, he said, erosion does not start until upliftment is complete. Erosion will not wait. Let the upliftment get completed, then I will start eroding. No, rivers will start eroding. As soon as slope is created, streams start flowing. But it was his assumption. You can use it in his criticism. Based on these five assumptions, he tried to explain landform evolution or cycle of erosion with the help of his graph. अभी ये ग्राफ नहीं बनाना है, मेरे साथ में नकल नहीं करनी है. When I will explain you the graph, then draw it, right? He tried to explain the cycle of erosion or theory of landform development with the help of his graph. Base level is sea level. Sea level is the ultimate base level. Height is always measured from sea level. So this is the sea level. As he said, there's a short period of rapid rate of upliftment. You have to understand every bit of it. What does this dot indicate? I will explain you everything. Don't draw it. इन दोनों लाइंस में कुछ अंतर लिख रहा है, लग रहा है, लगना चाहिए. ये हल्की सी स्लोप लग रही है इस लाइन में. You might see this gentle slope in this line. But it is perfectly parallel. It is perfectly parallel. Beta, the way you draw the graph, it reveals everything. तुम सब कुछ 100% सही लिख के आओ, and if you draw this graph wrong, you will get 0 marks because it reveals everything. If you draw this graph properly, examiner is least interested what you have written over there. This graph itself reveals everything. Old stage is thousands of times longer than youthful and mature. Now see, ये ग्राफ बता क्या रहा है? This shows rapid upliftment. Initially, rapid upliftment, landscape gets uplifted. Now, when the landscape will get uplifted, there will be various mountains and valleys. When the landscape gets uplifted, there are numerous mountains and valleys. The area that lies between two river valleys is known as water divide. and the top of the water divide is known as summit of water divide. Summit of water divide. And these are valley. River is coming out of the blackboard. River is coming out of the blackboard. इससे river बाहर आ रही है. This represents valley bottom. River valley, valley bottom, and the intervening area, that is interflow. This is known as water divide, separating two rivers. And the top of summit is known as, top of water divide is known as summit of water divide. He arbitrarily, he chose one water divide and one valley. One water divide and one valley. And then he examined how the evolution of landform will take place. समझ में आया? Initially, this is base level, this is base level, this is sea level. He, जैसे initially it was at base level, he presumed there is a short period of rapid rate of upliftment. Landscape gets uplifted. Now this is the entire landscape, and these are the individual landforms. This entire is landscape. The landscape got uplifted. He arbitrarily chose one water divide and one valley. And then he started to explain how evolution of this water divide and valley will take place. And he said the same will happen with the entire landscape. Any doubt? अपलिफ्टमेंट हो गया पूरे लैंडस्केप का. भाई चावल पकने के लिए चावल का एक दाना चेक करते हैं कि पूरे चावल दबा दबा के देखते हो. When you want to find whether this rice has been cooked, you see one rice. Yes, he arbitrarily choose one water divide and one valley and tried to explain how the evolution goes on. Same will happen with the rest of the landforms, and that will explain the evolution of landscape, how the landscape will evolve over the period of time. Yes. This is valley bottom. This is known as lower curve. Lower curve. LC. LC indicates lower curve. This lower curve is depicting what? This is depicting valley bottom. Valley bottom, LC. This is upper curve. What is up? What does the upper curve depicts? Upper curve क्या बता रहा है? Summits of water divide. You see, it is joining summits, peaks of, summit means peaks of water divide. Acha, tell me one thing, the height of Mount Everest is 8,848 or 50 meters above mean sea level, isn't it? What does it mean? We always measure height from sea level. Can you see that height? Go to Himalayas, you won't be able to see the sea. That can only be measured, that cannot be seen. It is known as absolute relief. The upper curve that joins the summits of water divide, that indicates absolute relief. that is height of the summit from the sea level. हम measure करते हैं, हम देख नहीं सकते इसको. You cannot see the absolute relief. Summits upper curve is joining what? It is connecting summits, that is peaks of water divide. What does it indicate? Absolute relief. Height of Mount Everest is 8,848 meters from mean sea level, AMSL, above mean sea level. You can only calculate it, you cannot see it. What you will actually see if you happen to go to Mussoorie, मतलब LBS Academy, जाओगे वहाँ पर, you will see LBS की हसीन वादियों में, you will see the difference between summit and valley bottom. You will actually see, अरे भाई, Lal Bahadur Shastri of Academy, I have gone there several times, or it is very beautiful. You can see the height of the mountain, you can see the valley bottom. That is what you actually see is relative relief. That is upper curve minus lower curve is known as relative relief. That is this distance, this. अब एब्सोल्यूट रिलीफ को शॉर्ट में AR कह देंगे, रिलेटिव रिलीफ को शॉर्ट में RR. ठीक. अब ये थ्योरी हम लोग शुरू करने जा रहे हैं. नाउ आई एम स्टार्टिंग वेरी सिंपल, वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. और इट इज नॉट दैट कि एवरीथिंग आई विल एक्सप्लेन यू, यू आर बाउंड टू राइट इन एग्जाम. मैंने बताया था ना, एग्जामिनर को हर चीज, आई विल मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड ईच एंड एवरी बिट ऑफ इट, but you need not explain each and every bit to examiner. So upliftment has taken place. Once what Davis said, if cycle of erosion begins only once upliftment is complete. His fifth assumption is what? Erosion means cycle of erosion begins once upliftment is complete. Now, in youthful stage, when the topography gets uplifted, now it is ready for erosion. Now cycle of erosion will begin. This is youthful stage. In लिख रखा है ना youthful stage. This is youthful stage up till here. When the topography gets uplifted, it is very steep. The slope is very steep. The channel gradient is very steep because it is youthful topography. Gradually, once it will get weathered and eroded, its slope will go on declining. Youthful to mature to old. What happens? This slope goes on declining. तभी तो next topic में we will study slope development. Landform development is what? Landform evolution is simply evolution of slope. The slope goes on declining. स्लोप डेवलपमेंट जो नेक्स्ट चैप्टर है उसमें यही चीज पढ़ेंगे, सेम चीज. हाउ लैंडफॉर्म डेवलपमेंट इज सिंपली स्लोप डेवलपमेंट. नेक्स्ट टॉपिक इज स्लोप डेवलपमेंट. विल सी हाउ एज द स्लोप इवॉल्व्स, दैट इज स्लोप डिक्लाइंस, लैंडफॉर्म डेवलप्स फ्रॉम यूथफुल टू मैच्योर टू ओल्ड स्टेज. राइट. इन यूथफुल स्टेज टोपोग्राफी इज वेरी स्टीप. सी रिवर्स आर, रिवर वैली है ना, rivers are moving out of the board. The slope over which the rivers are flowing, that is very steep. Have you ever been to Rishikesh? अब ऐसे थोड़ी है, तुम गए भी कहीं नहीं हो, अब ऐसे में क्या पढ़ाऊँ तुमको भाई. कहीं जाओ आओ, ज्योग्राफी मतलब यू हैव टू विजिट प्लेसेस. ऋषिकेश और एनी हिली एरिया, और नेट पे देख लो, नहीं गए हो तो नेट पे. इन अपर रीचेस, अपर रीचेस rivers are not very deep, they are shallow, but the flow velocity is very fast. अरे भाई, तुम ऋषिकेश में गंगा जी में नहा के देखो, बह जाओगे अगर चेन पकड़ के नहीं पकड़ोगे. फ्लो, राफ्टिंग भी करते हैं वहां पर तो लोग. फ्लो इज वेरी फास्ट. इफ यू गो टू स्टिल अपर रीचेस, यू विल फाइंड रिवर इज शैलो, बट बिकॉज ऑफ steep slope, the kinetic energy, the velocity of the water is very fast. In youthful stage, it is topography is characterized by steep channel gradient. ये word लिखना है तुम्हें. Steep channel gradient. Gradient means slope. Steep means steep slope. किसकी? Channel की, river channel. In youthful stage, none of you have visited any hilly area. थोड़ा बहुत घूमो, ऐसे नहीं. देखो ज्योग्राफी में प्रैक्टिकल क्यों होते हैं? बिकॉज वंस यू सी माउंटेन, यू कैन टच द माउंटेन, यू हैव अ फील. इन youthful stage, topography is very steep. If you want to see the youthful stage, go to upper reaches of Himalayas. Although Himalayas are in late youthful stage, but in upper reaches, the slope is still very steep. In youthful topography, the slope is very steep. The steep channel gradient. Steep channel gradient means the velocity of the river and is very high. The kinetic energy, this is sea level. अब हमारे यहाँ क्या है, रिवर्स हिमालय से प्लेन्स में आती हैं, है ना, बट एक्चुअली रिवर्स अल्टीमेटली फ्लो फ्रॉम माउंटेन्स टू सी. दिस इज sea level. Initially the slope is very steep, velocity of the river, the kinetic energy of the river is very fast. Velocity is very fast, kinetic energy is very high. Although the volume of water is less. Go to above Rishikesh, you will find Ganga is not much deep, but because of steep slope, velocity and kinetic energy is very high. As a result, this river drags big boulders. बड़े-बड़े पत्थर मिलेंगे. You will river valley, you will find big boulders and cobbles which are dragged along the valley floor, merely because of kinetic energy of river. And these boulders and cobbles which are dragged along the valley floor resorts to valley deepening very fast. These boulders and cobbles of high caliber means angle, they are dragged along the valley floor. At times, eddies get formed in rivers. Eddies जानते हो? रिवर देखिए, क्या बताएं तुम्हें, भंवर पड़ जाता है पानी में. You must see actually eddies. Eddies get formed, and these boulders and cobbles get caught in eddies, and they drill the valley floor like a drilling machine. When these boulders and cobbles are trapped, when the water, पानी या हवा में भंवर पड़ते हैं, भंवर, eddies. And eddies get formed and they are very fast, and these boulders and cobbles get trapped in those eddies and they resort to pothole drilling, that very fast rate of valley deepening. In youthful stage, the river resorts to active valley incision. In youthful stage, the stream resorts to active valley incision because of steep channel gradient. साधारण भाषा में कोई अदर सब्जेक्ट का स्टूडेंट लिखेगा तो ये कहेगा, रिवर इज फ्लोइंग ऑन अ वेरी स्टीप स्लोप, सो इट्स काइनेटिक एनर्जी इज मोर, सो इट इज कैरिंग बोल्डर्स एंड कॉबल्स एंड इट इज डीपनिंग इट्स वैली वेरी फास्ट. वजह समझ में आ गई? बिकॉज ऑफ स्टीप स्लोप, स्टीप चैनल ग्रेडियंट, रिवर रिसॉर्ट्स टू वैली इंसिजन by way of pothole drilling, and these boulders and cobbles are also dragged along the floor. Why? Because of high kinetic energy. As a result, valley deepening is very fast in youthful stage. River valley deepens very fast. In youthful stage, valley deepening. Now, the lower curve indicates river valley. See, initially, when the landform got uplifted, valley bottom was here. From base level, the height of valley bottom was this. Gradually, what you see, valley bottom is lowering very fast. Ab banao. The valley bottom lowers very fast. Why? Because of active valley incision resorted by the river due to steep channel gradient. बस इतना ही लिखना है तुम्हें आंसर में, कुछ नहीं समझाना, नहीं ग्राफ बनाना है, एक लाइन में बस. इन यूथफुल स्टेज The lower curve declines very fast because of active valley incision resorted by the river due to steep channel gradient. Bas. This active valley incision done by the river is depicted on the graph by rapid fall of lower curve. This lower curve indicates valley bottom. See, same thing. This was the valley bottom. This was the valley bottom here. Then see this valley bottom has lowered. This valley bottom has lowered. This valley bottom is lowering or not? This is sea level is base level. This is base level. Base level is what? Base level is sea level. This height of the valley bottom is decreasing. The rapid fall of lower curve, this rapid fall, rapid valley incision is depicted on the graph by rapid decline of lower curve, rapid fall of lower curve. Clear? अब ये लोअर कर्व बना लो. Now, the summits of water divide, one thing that you need to remember is summits are never affected by river water. पहली चीज, summits are never affected by river water. Summits are affected only by weathering, mechanical weathering or chemical weathering or biological weathering. Summits are eroded only by weathering. बैठ गया दिमाग में? Summits are never affected by river water. In youthful stage, the summits of water divide are not affected. The youthful stage has been defined in such a way until and unless summits are not weathered, youthful stage continues. भाई जवानी में कहाँ बाल झड़ते हैं? नहीं, ये सोचो, youthful stage has been defined in such a way that until summits are not weathered, youthful stage continues. In summits कैसे erode होंगे? Because of weathering. Weathering will take place and weathered sediment will fall under the impact of gravity. That is mass wasting. When any debris falls under the impact of gravity is known as mass wasting. In youthful stage, the summits of water divide are not eroded. क्यों? अगर erode होने शुरू हो गए, then we will say mature stage has begun. The youthful stage has been defined in such a way. The summits of water divides are not affected by erosion, so the upper curve representing the summits of water divide remains straight. Perfectly straight बनाना है इसको. This will reveal everything. Lower curve is declining very fast because of active valley incision by the river, but the summits of water divide are not lowered because they are not wide summits, because they are not affected by weathering. Summits are not eroded because youthful stage has been defined in such a way. Once summit will start weathering, that means mature stage has begun. तो यहां पर this upper curve indicates what? Absolute relief. AR remains constant. It is not lowered. What is happening to valley bottom? It is falling very fast. So what about relative relief? The difference between summit and valley bottom. The difference between summit and valley bottom goes on increasing. That means maximum relative relief is achieved by the end of youthful stage. Relative relief increases. Examiner is interested in knowing this only. What is happening? Relative relief is maximum at the end of youthful stage, because by the end of youthful stage, absolute relief summits do not undergo weathering. Why? Youthful stage has been defined in such a way. Once the summits start weathering, we will say mature stage has begun. Summits absolute relief remains constant. Valley bottom is lowering. So difference between upper curve and lower curve, that is relative leaf, goes on increasing until maximum relative leaf is achieved. So relative leaf increases. So as a result of this, relative leaf continues to increase till the end of youthful stage. When maximum relative leaf is achieved, absolute leaf remains constant. Once the summit will start lowering, we will say mature stage has begun. Why will the summit lower? Why will summit lower? Purely because of weathering. बिठा लो, river का कोई rule नहीं है इसमें. Purely because of weathering. Weathered sediment will fall under the impact of gravity, that is mass wasting. That will lead to down wasting. Lowering of summit is down wasting. So now once maximum relative leaf has been achieved, that means mature stage has begun. Mature stage is, Himalayas are in the end of youthful stage. Himalayas presently are in the end of youthful stage. So difference between summit and valley is huge. जाके देखो, you won't find anywhere else. Himalayas, Great Himalayas are the highest mountain range of the world. World's top 17 highest peak are in Himalayas. जो एवरेज हाइट है ग्रेट हिमालयाज की 6100 मीटर, उसकी एवरेज एलिवेशन से ऊंचे पीक्स भी दुनिया में बहुत कम है. हिमालयाज आर द माइटिएस्ट माउंटेन रेंज इन द वर्ल्ड. उसके आसपास भी नहीं है कोई. टॉप 17 हाईएस्ट पीक्स आर इन हिमालयाज एंड दे आर इन एंड ऑफ यूथफुल स्टेज. दैट मीन्स डिफरेंस बिटवीन समिट एंड वैली बॉटम इज ह्यूज. जाओ मसूरी, डर जाओगे वहां जाकर जब देखोगे नीचे सड़क से. सच डीप वैलीज आर देयर. So mature stage begins once maximum relative leaf has been achieved. Other way you can say once summit start lowering. In mature stage, this stage is characterized by marked lateral erosion, reduced valley incision and lowering of summit because of weathering. एक एक करके डिस्कस करते हैं. Mature stage is much longer than youthful stage. The duration of mature stage is more than 10 times of youthful stage, and duration of old stage is thousands of times longer than youthful and mature combined. Old stage is very long. Mature stage is characterized by marked lateral erosion. In youthful stage, river valleys are V-shaped. Valleys are V-shaped. In mature stage, because of increase in the volume of water in the river, because by the time river reaches mature stage, यहाँ नहीं बनाना है. By the time river reaches mature stage, what happens? Numerous tributaries starts joining it. That means river has been in existence for long. Therefore, numerous tributaries starts joining it. As a result, volume of water in the river increases, and this river and suspended load is there, and this river water and the suspended load actively erodes the valley side and transforms it into U-shaped or rectilinear valley. The V-shaped valley of youthful stage transforms into youthful shape, U-shaped or rectilinear valley sides. Why? Because of increase in volume of water, suspended particulate, the river water itself erode the valley sides, and valley sides become widened. V-shaped valley transforms into U-shaped valley, that is rectilinear valley sides. समझ में आया? In mature stage, lateral erosion becomes dominant. River water actively erodes its valley sides, and the V-shaped valley transforms into U-shaped valley. Marked lateral erosion. But what we see over here the valley bottom was deepening very fast. Now can you see this rate of deepening has declined. This rate of deepening has declined. Valley incision slows down. Why? Because by the time the river reaches mature stage, entire youthful stage, river has resorted to active valley deepening, active valley deepening, active valley deepening, active valley deepening. As a result, by the time river reaches mature stage, the slope over which the river is flowing is significantly less. Channel gradient is not so steep. In youthful stage, it was very steep. Since river was resorting to valley deepening, what was happening? The slope over which the river was flowing, that slope was continuously declining. As a result, river valley becomes deep, but the steepness of channel gradient significantly declines. As a result, the velocity and the kinetic energy of the river declines. When the velocity and kinetic energy of the river declines, its carrying capacity, it is no more in a position to carry big boulders and cobbles because its kinetic energy has declined. As a result, the rate of valley incision, the rate of lowering of lower curve, this declines. इसको steep बनाना है, लेकिन still it is declining, but at a decreasing rate. Yes, why does the valley deepening in mature stage, lateral erosion becomes marked? Because of increase in volume of water, it erodes the valley sides, है ना? Transforms the V-shaped valley into U-shaped valley, rectilinear valley, and valley deepening slows down. Why? Because during entire youthful stage, the river was actively engaged in valley deepening. उस river की valley है, it was lowering. Deep valley deepening होगी तो क्या होगा? It will deepen its valley, deepen its valley. When the river will deepen its valley, the channel gradient, the slope on which the river is flowing, that will go on decreasing. And by the time it reaches mature stage, the channel gradient, the slope of the river is significantly reduced. As a result, its velocity and the kinetic energy is significantly reduced. जब kinetic energy velocity नहीं है तो बड़े बड़े boulders को it is unable to drag, although volume is more but the energy is less. So rate of valley incision slows down. Mature stage को define ऐसे किया गया है, is marked by lowering of summits of water divide. Summits ऐसा था ना, you see summits are getting lowered. Why? Because of weathering. Weather debris fall under the impact of gravity after getting weathered. River का कोई रोल नहीं है यहाँ पर. In mature stage, summits of water divide are lowered because of weathering. Weather debris fall down under the impact of gravity. That is mass wasting. And this lowering of summit is known as this is known as down wasting. This lowering हुई है ना ये, down wasting is the keyword of Davis. According to Davis, evolution of landform takes place because of down wasting. Keyword है इनका. जैसे पैंक ने कहा है slope evolution takes place because of slope replacement from below. L.C. King has said slope evolution takes place because of parallel retreat. Davis says evolution from youthful to mature to old is because of down wasting. See, the slope has declined. The slope has declined. Now the rivers are also flowing on gentle slope. In mature stage, summits of water divide are lowered because of weathering. Weathered sediment fall down under the impact of gravity. मतलब मिडिल एजेस में बाल झड़ने शुरू हो जाते हैं. If they fall down under the impact of gravity, weathered debris fall down. Once lowering of summit starts, it means mature stage has begun. Mature stage has been defined in such a way. Mature stage is characterized by the summits of water divide are eroded. Word ये सही नहीं है eroded. मैं जो बोल रहा हूँ वो सही है. ये notes में जो words लिखे ना eroded, इसको लिखना चाहिए summits of water divide are lowered. Erosion is a process which occurs because of wind, water, any erosive agent. But here summits are not getting lowered because of any agent. ना तो wind काम कर रही है, ना river is इरोजन क्यों? वेदरिंग क्या है? डिसइंटीग्रेशन ऑफ रॉक्स एट इट्स स्पेस इज वेदरिंग इन सेतु. When the rock disintegrates at its base, it is weathering. Erosion, when those weathered particles are drifted away by wind, water, glacier, sea waves, that is erosion. यहाँ वो जो word use किया ना notes में, erosion, the summits of water divide are eroded. Technically, it is not right. They are not eroded. The summits of water divide are lowered due to weathering. Why? These weathered sediment are falling down under the impact of gravity. The summits, that is mass wasting. The summits of water divide are getting lowered. That is, they are undergoing down wasting. And what is the mechanism responsible for this down wasting? That is mass wasting. सब कुछ नहीं लिखा है नोट्स में. दिस लैंग्वेज इज किताबी लैंग्वेज. मतलब जब 17 साल पहले मैंने पढ़ाना शुरू किया था, लेटर ऑन आई स्टडीड लॉट, देन आई फाउंड ये सविंदर सिंह में सब गलत लैंग्वेज यूज कर रखी है. Yes, literally erosion हम word use ही नहीं कर सकते. Erosion happens only by way of erosive agent when the weathered debris is taken away. Mountain tops पे summits of water divide never undergo erosion. They always undergo weathering, and the weathered sediment fall down under the impact of gravity. That is mass wasting. And this process of weathered debris falling down under the impact of gravity is known as mass wasting. And this mass wasting is leading to lowering of summit. That is, it is leading to down wasting. Right? In mature stage, remember, बहुत ढंग से याद रखना है, the down wasting of summit is much more pronounced as compared to valley deepening. In mature stage, the down wasting of summit is much more pronounced, much more fast as compared to valley deepening. Therefore, the relative relief goes on decreasing. Because of gentle slope, river is not able to deepen its valley so fast. Valley incision has slowed down, but the rate of rate of down wasting, rate of lowering of summit is much faster. Therefore, absolute relief is declining. Valley bottom is lowering slowly, absolute relief is declining very fast. As a result, the relative relief starts decreasing. Examiner is only interested in seeing this. Relative relief decreases, absolute relief also decreases. Clear? तीन चीजें हो रही हैं मैच्योर स्टेज पे, इसलिए अच्छे से ध्यान रखना. नेक्स्ट टॉपिक जो स्लोप डेवलपमेंट पढ़ाऊंगा ना, I will use the same concept, but I will not draw this graph. I will depict it by way of slope. Same. You must remember each and every bit. वरना अगले चैप्टर में नहीं समझ में आएगा. What I am discussing here, the same concept will be discussed from the perspective of slope. So in mature stage, three things happen. Marked lateral erosion because of increase in volume of water. River water erodes its valley side, transform it from V-shaped to U-shaped valley. Second, valley deepening slows down because now the channel gradient is much more gentle. ज़्यादा समझाना ही नहीं है तुमको, इतना वो समझ जाएगा. He knows the concept. Channel gradient slows down. अब ये नहीं लिखना है because of which it is unable to carry big boulders and cobbles which are not dragged along the valley floor, so valley deepening has slowed. ना, कुछ नहीं लिखना. वो तो तुम्हारे समझाने के लिए बता रहा हूँ, बस एक लाइन में. थर्ड, summits are lowered. अब इसमें क्या eroded लिखा है, वर्ड गलत है टेक्निकली. Summits are lowered because of weathering. Weathered debris fall down under the impact of gravity. That is mass wasting. This mass wasting leads to lowering of summits of water divide. That is down wasting. Mass wasting leads to down wasting. And since the rate of lowering of summit is far more than rate of lowering of valley bottom, as a result, relative relief continues to decrease. The upper curve will go on coming closer to the lower curve. Valley deepening has decreased and some summits are getting eroded faster. So relative relief decreases, and since summits are getting lowered, what is happening? Now this absolute relief is decreasing height from the base level. Here it was constant. Now this absolute relief is decreasing. Now, so mature stage is characterized by decrease in relative relief and decrease in absolute relief. Old stage. Old stage is thousands of times longer than youthful and mature combined. When you will come to know that old stage has begun? Valley deepening stops completely. Valley incision stops. Valley incision stops. River no more deepens its valley. Can anybody tell me what does it mean? Old stage की beginning कब होती है? When valley deepening stops. River is no more able to deepen its valley. I told you every river intends to achieve graded profile. Graded condition is that condition when the slope on which the river flows is such that transporting capacity of the river and the sediment to be transported is equal. River does not deepen its valley. Graded condition का मतलब है river does not deepen its valley because it is no more, the slope has declined to such an extent, the slope over which the river is flowing is so gentle that river is merely capable of carrying the sediment present in it. It is not in a position, the slope has declined to such an extent that the river channel gradient has declined to such an extent that river is not in a position to deepen itself. Its velocity is so less that it is merely capable of carrying the sediment. That is graded condition. Streams achieve graded condition by the sediment transporting capacity and sediment present both are in equilibrium. Neither it resorts to erosion nor deposition. Matlab, it does not deepen. That means now the river have reached graded condition. Valley incision stops. Old stage is identified when valley incision stops. This stage is characterized by almost total absence of valley incision. Why? Because rivers have reached graded conditions. अभी पढ़ाएंगे ग्रेडेड कर्व डिटेल में इन चैनल मॉर्फोलॉजी. But lateral erosion and valley widening continues. Here you need to know, ये ग्राफ मैंने थोड़ा छोटा बनाया है इसको और इस सेक्शन को मैं बना रहा हूं, ठीक है. आई एम अगेन ड्रॉइंग इट थोड़ा बड़ा. इन दिस स्टेज valley deepening stops, one thing, but lateral erosion continues. In this stage, river water merely carries the sediment. It does not play any role in weathering or erosion. River water, erosion, it will merely carry away the sediment. In this stage, river valleys are thousands of kilometers wide. ये जो हम दिखा रहे हैं काफी ऊंचा दिखा दिया है. दे आर वेरी वाइड एंड रिवर वाटर फ्लो समवेयर हियर. यहाँ कहीं पानी है. ऐसा कोई एग्जांपल है नहीं ना ओल्ड स्टेज का भी, बिकॉज ऑफ लैक ऑफ टेक्टोनिक स्टेबिलिटी. जब तक यहाँ पहुंच पाती है अपलिफ्टमेंट हो जाता है. अगेन अपलिफ्टमेंट बिकॉज ऑफ स्टीप स्लोप, अगेन रिवर स्टार्ट्स रिसॉर्टिंग टू वैली डीपनिंग. देयर इज नो एग्जांपल ऑफ ओल्ड स्टेज. परफेक्ट. तो इन ओल्ड स्टेज valley deepening stops, that means lower curve stops falling because of lateral erosion, and valley widening continues. But now what is happening? Lateral erosion and valley widening is taking place purely because of weathering. In old stage what is happening? Valley deepening to stop ho gayi hai because river has achieved graded condition, but valley widening, lateral erosion, that is lateral erosion continues, or lateral erosion and valley widening continues because of weathering, pure weathering. How? See this, in fact, summits are also reduced in dimension by way of down wasting and back wasting. अब यही समझाना है मुझे. What is down wasting? What is back wasting? Why lateral erosion is taking place? Why valley widening is taking place? And all happens because of same single process. Same process is causing down wasting, same process is causing back wasting, same process is causing lateral erosion and valley widening. That is mass wasting. Now in old stage, अब चूंकि summits are also lowered, why? Because they undergo down wasting and back wasting because of weathering, and valley bottom remains constant. As a result, here also absolute relief decreases, relative relief also decreases. Now let me explain you. इतना लिख दिया तुमने वहां पर, अब तुम्हारे लिए समझा रहा हूं. तुम्हें एग्जामिनर को इतना लिख के चले आना है. Until he asks, and you have to answer according to the requirement of the question, not according to your existing knowledge base. सारी अंग्रेजी एक बार में नहीं बोल देनी है, इतना आता है. जितना पूछा है उतना ही बताना है. People end up explaining each and everything that irritates the person. वर्ड लिमिट एक्सीड होगी, टाइम वेस्ट होगा, जितना कम लिख सकते हो. नाउ व्हाट हैपेंस, अब इसको डिटेल में समझा रहा हूँ बिकॉज अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज वेरी गुड. आगे भी. नाउ इन दिस स्टेज व्हाट हैपेंस, these are the water divides. Valleys are very broad. ऐसा है. Scenario is somewhat like this. मतलब water divides are reduced in dimension. This is river flowing somewhere in between. River valley hundreds of kilometer wide. And water divides are reduced to such low extension that they become part of valley side. ऐसा लगता है नदी के किनारे. One valley side is this. This is another valley. Another valley की side ये है. Water divides इतने broad gentle swells तुम देख ही नहीं पाओगे. The water divides are not visible. By flow of water you come to know, this is water divide. Water is flowing in this direction. Broad gentle swells. They are reduced to such an extent that they become part of one valley side is this, one valley side is this. Water divides are made up of valley sides. Now what happens? In this stage, the evolution of landform is very slow because very hard resistant rock remain behind. Slope has declined. The rivers are not in a position to cause erosion. Only weathering is the process that will lead to evolution of landform. And for hard resistant rock, weathering is very slow. So landform evolution is very slow in old stage. Therefore, old stage is thousands of times longer than youthful and mature combined. Now what happens? In old stage, only weathering. It's only weathering. What is happening? Suppose this is water divide. What is happening? Weathering takes place. See, valley bottom is not deepening. Valley bottom is not deepening. Valley bottom is not deepening. Sediment of on either side of valley side, this sediment is getting weathered. After getting weathered, this sediment is sliding down to the river valley, and this river water will merely carry away this sediment. Just अगर ये river ना हो ना तो landform evolution will stop. ये high level की बात बता रहा हूँ, ये तुम्हारे course के beyond है. If river is not there, there is no agent to carry away the weathered debris. Evolution of landform stops. चाहे वो कोई area हो. River is very important. यही पढ़ाऊंगा आगे. River water will merely carry away the sediment. एंड रिवर वाटर इज प्रेजेंट समवेयर इन बिटवीन, बहुत बीच में कहीं. रिवर वैलीज आर वेरी ब्रॉड, यू कैन ओनली इमेजिन, यू कैन नॉट सी, बिकॉज सच स्टेज नेवर इज नॉट देयर इन एनीवेयर इन द वर्ल्ड. क्योंकि जब तक ये अचीव हो पाती है, अपलिफ्टमेंट हो जाता है, अगेन इरोजन स्टार्ट्स. तो हमें जो ग्रेडेड वैलीज मिलती है ना, हम देखते हैं अरे वो टॉप प्लेटू पे, व्हाई व्हेन इट गॉट फॉर्म्ड इट रिड्यूस टू सी लेवल, बट सब्सिक्वेंट अपलिफ्टमेंट, now you see graded valleys lying on plateaus. Erosional surfaces are found on plateaus because earth crust got uplifted. So what happens in this stage? Only weathering takes place. Now weathering, this weathered sediment falls down into the river by way of mass wasting. Mass wasting. So what is happening? When the weathered sediment will fall, this will lead to lateral erosion of the valley, and valley is becoming wide or not? भाई पहले वैली वाइट वाली थी, अब वैली वाइड हो गई नहीं हो गई? वैली हैज वाइडेंड, दैट इज लेटरल इरोजन हैज टेकन प्लेस. नाउ ये रेड वाली वैली हो गई. रेड वैली वाइड है, वाइड है कि ये वाली वैली वाइड है या सेकंड वाली वैली वाइड है? सेकंड वैली इज वाइड बिकॉज ऑफ वेदर्ड सेडिमेंट. दिस वेदर्ड सेडिमेंट हैज फॉलन डाउन अंडर द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ ग्रेविटी, दैट इज mass wasting. Mass wasting, weathered sediment falls down into the river and river water carries away the sediment and valley widening takes place. The same process of mass wasting is also causing down wasting. As this sediment is falling down into the river, it is causing lowering of water divides. As this sediment is getting weathered, and when it falls into the river, this is leading to down wasting. It is the weather debris that is falling under the impact of gravity into the river, that is mass wasting. Mass wasting is causing lateral erosion of the river, valley widening. Mass wasting is causing the lowering of water divide, that is down wasting. And as they are getting lowered, the water divide is also getting narrowed down. See, initially water divide was wider. Now, apart from down wasting, this, as the lateral erosion takes place, the water divide also narrows down. This narrowing down is known as back wasting. यानी कि जो रिवर के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में लेटरल इरोजन है ना, वाटर डिवाइड के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में दैट इज बैक वेस्टिंग. As the river will get widen, पहले now landform was initially landform was like this, then it became like this. Ultimately the water divides are getting lowered as well as narrowed down. Ultimately the surface is like this, the ultimate erosional surface. Water divides छोटे होते जाते हैं. This concave profile goes on increasing. Are you getting this? River valley पहले ऐसे थे, they are when the weather debris fall, they go on narrowing down. This back wasting of the water divide is same as lateral erosion of the river. Process एक ही है, that process is mass wasting. Weather debris is falling into the river. This weather debris when falls into the river causes down wasting. This weather debris when falls into the river causes back wasting, and this weather debris when it falls into the river causes lateral erosion and valley widening. The cause is one, that is mass wasting. अब इससे अच्छा और क्या पढ़ाऊंगा, तुम लोग समझ में आया? ऐसा है ना, जैसे तुम्हें कुछ नहीं लिखना एग्जाम में, मतलब कुछ नहीं मतलब बहुत लिमिटेड लिखना है. कुछ नहीं मतलब ये नहीं खाली छोड़ के आ जाओ, इतना लिख दो. इन ओल्ड स्टेज is much longer than youthful stage. Valley deepening stops because river achieve graded condition. Summits are lowered and by way of down wasting and back wasting, है ना? And valley widening continues because of lateral erosion, and all these processes take place by way of weathering. खत्म. मास वेस्टिंग लिख दो, मतलब तुम्हें कुछ समझाना नहीं है. इतना ये सब बना के, ये सब तुम्हारे लिए बना, तुम्हें एक ही ग्राफ बनाना है, आगे बढ़ जाना है. इतना टाइम ही नहीं होता एग्जाम में. वन सिंगल ग्राफ, आर आर एस फॉलिंग, ए आर एस फॉलिंग, खत्म. थोड़ा 2-3 लाइनें लिख दी. यू नीड नॉट एक्सप्लेन ऑल दीज थिंग्स, ये तुम्हारे समझने के लिए जरूरी है, क्योंकि नेक्स्ट टॉपिक्स जो आएंगे ना, स्लोप डेवलपमेंट वगैरह, एम आई ऑडिबल? नाउ यू नीड नॉट ड्रॉ ऑल दीज थिंग्स, ये नेक्स्ट टॉपिक में यूज होगा एक्चुअली। ये नेक्स्ट टॉपिक ना, स्लोप डेवलपमेंट, स्लोप डिक्लाइन, स्लोप गोज ऑन डिक्लाइनिंग, स्लोप गोज ऑन डिक्लाइनिंग, and according to Davis, landform evolution or slope decline is caused purely because of downwasting. Yes, it's true. He says it is downwasting at the same place. The topography transforms from youthful to mature to old. This slope decline is taking place because of downwasting. Yes, he's true. Downwasting na ho, to evolution of landform will stop. So in final stage you will write this it is valley deepening stops, lateral erosion continues, which leads to valley widening. Summits are lowered by both by way of downwasting and backwasting, है ना? As a result, absolute relief declines, relative relief declines. बस कंक्लूजन में इधर लिख दोगे। तुम्हें ये सब बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं समझाना, फॉलिंग डाउन अंडर द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ ग्रेविटी, क्या जरूरत है, अनलेस एंड अनटिल क्वेश्चन डिमांड इट। तो लास्ट में यू विल राइट एट द एंड द surface that emerges at the end, the surface that emerges, Davis has termed it as penny plane. अलग अलग स्कॉलर्स ने अलग अलग प्रोसेस बताई हैं इवोल्यूशन ऑफ इरोजन सरफेस। डेविस हैज नेम्ड इट पेनी प्लेन, किंग ने इसको पैंक ने इसको एंड्रम्फ कहा है, किंग हैज कॉल्ड इट पेडी प्लेन, क्रिक में हैज कॉल्ड एज पैन प्लेन। दिखने में सब एक जैसे हैं, they are the end product of erosion, but different scholars have put forward different mechanism for slope evolution. Slope evolution means landform evolution. तो at the end क्या होगा, in conclusion you will write at the end of cycle entire surface is dominated by graded valleys. अरे वैली तो वैली रह जाएंगे, ultimately water divide भी गायब, only valley and these valleys are graded conditions. At the end, the entire landscape is dominated by graded valley sides and convexo-concave monadnocks. अब क्या होता है? What is these monadnocks? There are certain hard resistant landforms which do not, ऐसा नहीं सब जगह यूनिफॉर्मली वेदर होंगे. Certain water divides are higher, certain water divides are lower, certain valleys are broader, certain old stage में भी, last stage ऐसा सिमेट्री नहीं होती कुछ, but all the rivers achieve graded conditions and water divides are lowered. Certain hard and resistant rock remain behind. Those are known as monadnocks. These hard and resistant rock that remain behind are known as monadnocks. Convexo-concave, in the upper part it is convex. अभी next topic पढ़ाऊंगा. In the lower part it is concave. तुम्हें नहीं लग रहा होगा, ये तुम देखो ना, in the upper part it is convex, in the lower part it is concave. Can you see it? है वैसे लगना चाहिए. This is convex, this is concave. I will discuss. So at the end, the entire landscape is dominated by graded valleys, graded valley sides. Convexo-concave monadnocks. Certain monadnocks rise high than the entire landscape. Convexo-concave monadnocks. ऐसे. Convexo, this is convex surface, this is concave surface. Convexo-concave monadnocks and extensive undulating plain. एक्सटेंसिव अंडुलेटिंग प्लेन ऐसा, एक्सटेंसिव अंडुलेटिंग प्लेन ऐसा ऐसा दे दो। लास्ट अगर टेक्टोनिक स्टेबिलिटी रहे ना, लास्ट तक टेक्टोनिक स्टेबिलिटी रहे, then this landscape will evolve. Concave, concave, concave. Convex will disappear. Back wasting will ensure that this convex segment goes on decreasing, back wasting, and this convex segment goes on decreasing, concave segment goes on increasing. If tectonic stability of very high period, matlab, then purely concave profile will remain behind. ये तुम्हें इस एग्जाम से लेना देना नहीं है, तुम्हारे एग्जाम में ये नहीं पूछेंगे, बता रहा हूँ, ये रियलिटी है एक, इट इज अ रियलिटी. इफ टेक्टोनिक स्टेबिलिटी ऑफ लॉन्ग पीरियड प्रिवेल्स, this convex segment will also disappear, that is water divides will completely disappear and this concave profile will remain. इसको हम पेंक ने कहा इंसेलबर्ग, दिस विल ऑल्सो अंडरगो डाउन वेस्टिंग एंड ये भी नीचे होते जाएंगे और मतलब only concave profile. Final shape that any erosional surface can achieve by any mechanism is wide low lying concave surface. आता ही नहीं है, कभी होता ही नहीं है, इतनी टेक्टोनिक स्टेबिलिटी होती है. दिस कॉन्वेक्स सेगमेंट विल गो ऑन नैरोइंग डाउन बिकॉज ऑफ बैक वेस्टिंग. वेदर डिब्रिस विल गो ऑन फॉलिंग डाउन. अल्टीमेटली बिकॉज ऑफ बैक वेस्टिंग दिस कॉन्वेक्स सेगमेंट विल गो ऑन डिक्रीजिंग. ओनली कॉन्केव प्रोफाइल विल रिमेन बिहाइंड. उससे पहले जैसे वो तो उसकी तो इन्होंने बात ही नहीं की है, नोट्स में लिखा ही नहीं उसके बारे में. उससे पहले ही खत्म कर दिया है कि इन्होंने कहा है कि एट द एंड द एंटायर लैंडस्केप इज डोमिनेटेड बाय ग्रेडेड वैलीज, रेजिडुअल कॉन्वेक्सो कॉन्केव मोनार्ड. ये मोनार्ड भी गायब हो जाएंगे लास्ट में. कॉन्वेक्सो कॉन्केव मोनार्ड, सर्टेन हार्ड रेजिस्टेंट convex concave monarch, and extensive undulating plane of low relief. That entire landscape is reduced to sea level, that is maximum entropy. Last में लिख दो maximum entropy. Maximum entropy means maximum disorder of relief. And the extensive undulating plane of low relief, which has been termed as penny plane by Davis. ठीक है, आज यही रखते हैं, पेंक की कल पढ़ाएंगे, नहीं तो पेंक और डेविस में कंफ्यूज हो जाओगे. उनका भी ग्राफ है, उनका इससे ही बड़ा ग्राफ है. इट इज इवन मच बिगर, इट टेक्स इवन मोर टाइम, बट यू नीड टू नो व्हाट आर द सिमिलैरिटीज एंड डिफरेंसेस. दे यूजुअली आस्क कंपैरिजन. यू शुड बी वेरी क्लियर अबाउट एवरीथिंग. ये क्लियर हो गया, टुमारो पेंक क्लियर कर देंगे. फिर देन वी विल स्टार्ट विथ स्लोप डेवलपमेंट, वेयर वी विल डिस्कस द सेम कंसेप्ट ऑफ डेविस एंड पेंक फ्रॉम अ डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव, फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ स्लोप इवोल्यूशन. लैंडफॉर्म इवोल्यूशन इज नथिंग, इट इज इवोल्यूशन ऑफ स्लोप. इट इज स्लोप दैट गोज. लैंडफॉर्म तो अपनी जगह ना, ये वाला एक्सेस जो हमने बनाया था, दिस इज टाइम. The same landform is transforming into this shape at the same place. This is time. This axis is time. आ गया भाई ये. तो दिस इज हैपनिंग एट इट्स ओन प्लेस. यूथफुल, ये मैच्योर मान लो, ये यूथफुल, ये ओल्ड, ये तो होता है. हम लोग एक ही चीज, वी आर शोइंग ओनली वाटर डिवाइड, बट दिस इज ऑल्सो हैपनिंग विद वैली. इनिशियली वैलीज आर लाइक दिस, steep narrow V-shaped valley, water is coming out. Gradually valleys become wide. In mature stage यही तो डिस्कस करेंगे स्लोप डेवलपमेंट. U-shaped valley, and ultimately valleys become, because of weathering and erosion, valleys goes on widening. In old stage the valleys become very wide. वो अपनी जगह तो हो रहा है. And Davis says downwasting is the chief mechanism that leads to landform development, that is slope development, right? So tomorrow we'll continue this. If you have any doubt, you can ask it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, beta. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
okay, beta.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, okay, beta.
Thank you, sir.
God bless you.